Dear students, welcome you all to the course that is Fabric Manufacturing Technology. So, till the last sessions, we have discussed about the warp preparatory process. Particularly in the warp preparatory process, we have discussed about the first machine that is called as a winding machine, or we have seen that the technology called as winding technology. So once again we will just look after what are the contents we have gone through the first unit. So we have in the first unit we have seen that basically what is exactly the introduction to the fabric manufacturing is, and we have seen the first two machines, that is one is called as a winding technology and the second one is called as the warping technology. So we have seen what are the objectives of winding technology is. What are the objectives of winding technology? As we have already discussed, the winding objectives are: one is the conversion of smaller packages to the bigger packages, that is ring cops to the particularly the end package, that is cone or cheese, that is called as the bigger package. So in the introduction section itself I have explained about the smaller packages. Specifically in the winding technology, we are going to feed the input material, that is in the form of ring cops, nothing but that is the input material from the spinning unit. So we have a ring frames where the ring spun yarn is going to be produced. So these ring cops are going to be taken, and these ring cops, that smaller yarn content in the ring tubes, that is around 80 grams to the 100 grams of yarn content present in the ring cop approximately. So these smaller packages we are converting into a bigger package, that is cone or cheese. The requirement like of the customer requirement, like 1.5 kg or 1.8 kg of cones or cheeses we are going to produce in the winding machine. And the second main objective of the winding technology or winding machine is to remove the objectionable faults. So as we have discussed what are the objectionable faults and how we are going to remove these objectionable faults in the winding technologies. So in the winding we have seen that the specifically like what are the tensioners, what are the different types of tensioners are there, what are the functions of these tensioners are, and we have seen that the second, that is main important thing, that is clearers, how these clearers are going to be worked, what are the types of clearers we are using in the winding technologies. And apart from along with these we have discussed about the splicing technology. So after the removal of faults present in the yarn, so how these two broken ends are going to be joined with the help of splicing technology or the knotting technology. So all and these particular topics we have discussed under winding technology, and we have seen that there are two different types of winding machines. One is called as a drum winding and the second one is called as the precision winding. Okay, and we have already seen that the common package faults and what are the causes for the particular fault and how we can prevent these faults occurring in the winding machine, we have seen in the previous sessions. And in the second half of the unit, we have discussed about warping technology, the second machine in the warp preparatory stage, that is warping machine or warping technology. So we have seen that what are the objectives of warping and what are the classification and how the warping machines are classified is. And we have seen that how these warping machines are going to work, and when we are going to select a particular warping machine depends upon the fabric quality requirements. As considered the fabric quality requirement or fabric quality, whether we need to go for the direct warping machine or the indirect warping, that is sectional warping machine. Or so we are going to select based on the fabric quality or order quality. Okay, so the customer quality requirements, as per the customer quality requirements, and the quality of particular yarns, or whether we are going for the gray yarns or finer yarn counts or coarser yarn counts, we are going to select. There are so many parameters to select the warping machines. So up to this we have seen in the unit 1 section, that is particularly introduction, winding technology and warping technology in the unit 1. So today we are going to start about the new unit, that is unit number 2. We are going to start. After the warping, the warp beams are going to be sent for the warp sizing. So you can see here the warp sizing. Okay, so we are going to start today this particular session, warp sizing. How the size paste we are going to apply into the yarn. So we will start the sizing part. What are the objectives of sizing and how this size paste is very important in terms of the further process, that is weaving. Okay, so we will start one by one. So let us see what is called as warp sizing is. Okay, so we'll see here why the sizing is very important. We'll just go through a small introduction what is the sizing is. Okay, so during the process of weaving, the warp yarns are moved up and down. So the next step after sizing is weaving. So our topic, our course name is called as the fabric manufacturing. So ultimately what is our output product is fabric. So to form the fabric, as we discussed earlier, we required 2 set of threads. One is called as warp threads and the second one is called as weft threads. To form the fabric, the warp yarns should be moved up and down, that is called as, we need to form a shed. So after forming the shed, we are going to insert the weft threads into the opened shed. So now what is happening is, while moving the warp threads up and down, there are so many forces are going to be applied by the mechanisms or by some mechanical parts, where you can see here. Consequently, the warp yarns are subjected to considerable strain and are under friction with the backrest, lees rods, heel lies, reed wires and the race board. These are the some of the parts just I have given here, where the warp yarn is going to be applied strain on the warp yarn. So how this, by these parts, what is happening is the warp yarn is going to get the strain. So now the warp yarn, because of the strain, if the yarn is weaker, then what will happen? If the yarn is weaker, if the strain is more than the yarn strength, the yarn may get break. So to overcome the breakages in the weaving technology, we required a sizing process. So to avoid the breakages or to resist the breakages or to resist the strains which are applied on the yarn in the weaving process, we required a sizing operation. So we need to add some strength to the yarn by adding some ingredients or by coating some ingredients, film coating onto the yarn top side, so that we will get some tensile strength, so that after the sizing the yarn becomes somehow going to get somehow the more strength, so that the stresses or strains which are applied in the weaving process can be resisted. So let us see what is exactly the weaving process is. Okay, so you can observe here there is a warp beam at back side, and the warp yarn is passing above the backrest, and it is going through the lease rods. Then we have a heeled frames, and in the heeled frames we have a heeled wires. So in the individual heeled wires, all the threads are going to be passed. You can observe that there are two heeled frames which are shown in the animation video. So because the warp sheet is going to be divided into two sets. One is, like as already I told, to form the fabric, the warp sheet has to be divided into two layers. So all odd ends are going to be taken into the bottom side, and all even ends are going to be taken upside, so that the fabric, the warp sheet is going to be formed a small shed. So after the shed opening, the shuttle is going to be traversed. Nothing but the pick or weft insertion can be done in the shed. So after picking or filling insertion, the reed is going to beat the weft yarn towards the fill of the cloth, and after that the fabric is going to be taken and it is going to be winded into the cloth roller with the help of take up mechanism. So this is the overall picture how the fabric is going to be formed. So there is a warp. So we have a warp preparation process. After warp preparation process, nothing but winding, warping, then sizing. The sized beam is going to be kept at the back side. So these yarns are going to be drawn through the heeled frames and reed wires, so that the warp yarns can be divided into two layers. After the shed formation, the filling or weft yarn is going to be inserted into the opened shed. After the insertion, the weft yarn is going to be beaten towards the fill of the cloth, so that the fabric formation can be done. After the fabric formation, the fabric is going to be taken up and it is going to be winded into the cloth roller with the help of fabric take up mechanism. So this is the overall picture of the weaving process. Now, as I earlier I told, when the warp threads are moving up and down, so there is a stress or strains are going to be applied onto the yarn with the because of these parts. So the backrest mechanism, heeled frames, and the reed ends. So because of these mechanism or these mechanical components, the stress and strain is going to be applied onto the yarn. So it should be resisted in the weaving. So that is why what we are doing is we are applying the size ingredients or size paste to the yarn or to the warp yarn, so that the warp yarns are going to be get resisted towards all the forces which are applied in the weaving process. So this is the overall introduction to the sizing technology. Now we will see what are the same thing I have explained here. Okay, now you can observe here how the size paste is going to be applied. Okay, now there is a trough. In the trough we have a size paste. So the size ingredients, that is like a gummy substance, is going to be available in the bath, and there are guide rollers and there are immersion rollers and there are squeezing rollers. Now the warp sheet which is coming from the creel, now the warp sheet is going into through the size paste with the help of immersion roller. So this is the immersion roller. What is the function of this immersion roller is to immerse the warp sheet into the size paste. So what is the function is? The function of the immersion roller is to immerse the warp sheet into the size paste. After the immersion, so there are squeezing rollers. The immersed warp sheet is going to be passed through the squeezing rollers. So whatever the excess amount of size paste is present on the top of the surface of the warp sheet is going to be removed or squeezed off from the warp sheet. Then after squeezing, the warp sheet is going to be sent for the drying, because after the size application, what is happening is the size paste is like a liquid form. So these ingredients are going to be applied with the help of like a solution form. So it is becoming wet. So the wet warp is to be dried with the help of drying mechanism. So there are drying mechanism and there are different methods of drying. We will discuss in the further classes. Okay. So this is the simple understanding how the warp sheet is going to be passed through the size box or sew box, and how the size paste is going to be applied. So because of the penetration of warp sheet into the size paste, automatically the size paste is going to be picked up by the warp sheet, and excess amount of size paste is going to be squeezed off from the warp sheet with the help of squeezing rollers. Then after that it is going for the drying, then the winding. So this is the simple picture of how the size paste is going to be applied into the warp sheet is. Now you can see here the major objectives of sizing machine or sizing objectives. So first one, to improve the weavability. So as I already mentioned, in the weaving area there are stresses and strains which are applying in the weaving machine. So the warp yarns or warp sheet should be resisted whatever the stresses are producing in the weaving area is. So that is why the weavability, to weave the fabric, the yarns should be able to sustain the forces which are applied in the weaving process. That is why the name called as the main objective of the sizing is to improve the weavability of yarn. So to improve the weavability of warp yarns. So that is the major objective of sizing. And the second objective is to improve the abrasion resistance of the yarn. So what is the abrasion resistance? Because now there are warp threads. Now the warp threads are moving up and down. You can observe there are warp threads and these are moving up and down. So when it is opening and closing or moving up and down, so there is an abrasion between the yarn to yarn, and there are metallic components, metallic elements or metallic parts like heeled wires, reed dents. So there are so many metal parts are there involved in the weaving process. So the yarn should be abrasion resistance, nothing but if it is abraded between the yarn to yarn or between the yarn to metal, even metal to yarn friction also should be resistant. That is why the abrasion resistance of the yarns should be more, or it should be improved by applying the size paste. That we will discuss how it is going to be applied, because when the size paste is applied onto the yarn, so now it is going to get like the yarn surface becoming a thin film layer. So whenever the abrasion is happening, the film is going to be abraded first. So the film will be damaged and the yarn will not be damaged. So there are few parameters or few particulars how this abrasion is going to be worked and how the yarn is going to be protected with the help of size paste film. Okay. And the third objective is to make the yarn withstand the stress and strains which are applied in the during the weaving processes. So that is as I already told. And the second and the fourth one is to lathe the protruding fibers. Nothing but the yarn, if you observe the yarn surface, there are protruding fibers. There are hairs on the yarn surface. So by applying the size paste, these yarn fibers, or that is whatever the hairs on the yarn surface is there, these are going to be laid down on the yarn surface. Okay, you can observe these images. The first image is before sizing. So you can observe that there are fibers or hairs which are there on the surface of the yarn. And you can observe that the second image after the sizing, this whatever the hairs are there, it was going to be laid down after the sizing process, because the size paste is going to be applied on the surface along with the yarn. Inside the yarn, the size paste is going to be penetrated. Along with that, the surface of the yarn also be going to be covered with the help of size film. So you can observe the second image. There is a yarn in the middle, and the outer layer, whatever it is shown, is called as the size film. A thin size film is applied on the yarn surface throughout the length. Okay, so this is how the protruding fibers or hairs are going to be laid down on the surface of the yarn. Then we will see that the next objective is to form a thin film, that is to form a thin film, homogeneous, uniform, protective film. So you can see here, there is it is going to be formed, like size paste is going to form a thin, homogeneous, uniform throughout the length of the yarn. This whatever the size paste is becoming a film on the surface of the yarn. So it should be uniform, it should be homogeneous, it should be very thin. Okay, if it is very thick, if the size paste is applied very thick on the surface, then what will happen? If you bend the yarn, it becomes brittle. So to avoid that, the size film should be very thin, homogeneous and uniform. Okay, so that it will be going to protect in the further process, that is weaving area. Then to give sufficient cover, feel and appearance of the sized yarn meant for the grey cloth. So size paste, if you apply the size paste, the color of the yarn, if the color of the yarn is like a grey color, after the size paste applied, the color is going to be changed because of the size ingredients. Color nothing but directly it is not going to convert like a white color becomes black. It won't be like that. But there is a small variation of the color of the yarn. Okay, so it should be controlled by using the bluing agents and brightening agents. There are ingredients that we will discuss in the next session. And the next objective is to add extra weight to the cloth if necessary. For example, some of the customers, they ask grey cloth. Okay, so the customers are going to ask, for example, if they ask grey cloth, now how the grey cloth or cloth is going to be counted? It is not going to be counted like number of meters we are giving to the customer. So they will weigh the fabric roll on the weight basis. So the fabric, this many kgs. So they will calculate per kg, this is the cost. Say for example, per kg 50 rupees or 60 rupees. So they will calculate per kg what is the rate. So for example, if the 1 kg cost is 250 or 350, so 350 rupees is the cost. For example, if you apply the size paste some little bit more, in the long runs, like 10,000 meters of yarn or 10,000 meters of fabric, if you apply little bit of size paste more, then what will happen? Total weight of the fabric is going to be varied. Now size paste or size ingredients cost is lesser than your fabric cost, so automatically you will get the profit. But it is not ethical, it should not be done. For example, if you want more weight because the next process required more weight, in that case also you can increase the fabric weight by applying some size ingredients into the size paste. Okay, so these are the basic objectives of the sizing. Okay, now we will see what are the different types of sizing is. So there are different types of sizing. So there are basically 4 types of sizing. One is called as light sizing, pure sizing, medium sizing and heavy sizing. Okay, so these are the 4 different types of sizing. Okay, and there are different techniques of sizing. Techniques nothing but how we are applying the size paste into the yarn, how we are applying the size paste onto the yarn. So whatever, so what is the technique to apply the size paste into the yarn is called as the different techniques of the sizing. So now we have hot melt sizing and solvent sizing. There is a solution and we are applying the solution into the warp sheet, and there is a foam, like a size paste becomes a foam. Like you can observe that while washing the clothes, if you apply the surf in the water, if you just bubble it, if you shake it, then what will happen? There is a foam formation. So the foam, in the form of foam, we are applying the size paste to the warp yarn. And high pressure sizing and electrostatic sizing and emulsion sizing. These are the different techniques of sizing generally we have is. So these techniques are different. These techniques are going to be used into the particular specific use. Okay, so these are the different techniques of sizing, and we have a properties of the sizing material. So the sizing material should have specific property, desirable and essential properties of the size material. So what is the sizing materials are like maize starch, rice, potato, tapioca. So all these are comes under the adhesives of the size paste. So these are the some of the ingredient, or these are one of the ingredient in the size paste. Okay, as a adhesive. So there are some ingredients. So we will discuss what are the different types of ingredients we are going to use to prepare the size paste is. And so specifically these size paste should have some properties. These are like essential properties and desirable properties. You can see that the film forming capability should be there. So the size paste should be having a film forming capability. Okay, then adhesion, nothing but the size paste should be adhered to the yarn or to the fibers. Okay, that is called as the adhesion property. And optimum penetration should be there. Optimum nothing but it should be penetrated through the fibers in the inside of the structure of yarn. Okay, so in the structure of yarn, as I told earlier, like there are 42,000 number of fibers are present in the yarn cross section. So the size paste should be penetrated optimally, so that the adhesion in between the fibers are going to be taken place, so that the yarn should be going to get more strength than the parent yarn. And the film flexibility or elasticity. Film flexibility nothing but if you bend the yarn, the yarn should be bent, and along with the yarn the film also should be bent. It should not be brittle. The film should not be brittle. If it is brittle, then what will happen? Because when the yarn is dividing into 2 layers, now what will happen? Yarn is bending. So when the yarn is bending, this film is going to lose. Nothing but in the weaving area, the size droppings are going to be there. So size dropping nothing but size film, whatever it is applied on the yarn surface, is going to be dropped down because of the metal part, metal to yarn abrasion. Due to the metal to yarn abrasion, this film is going to be damaged and it will be dropped down on the weaving elements. Okay, so that is why the film should be having flexibility and elasticity, and it should be a lubricant, like very smooth, and bacterial resistance. It should be bacterial resistance, so there should not be any attack of bacteria within the less time. Okay, so because the sizing and weaving, it takes a time like 1 week to 10 days of time. So within these 10 days of time, there should not be any bacterial or fungal infections on the yarn, because the size ingredients are, there are natural size ingredients. So these natural size ingredients are very easy to attack by the bacteria. So the bacterial resistance should be there of these particular sizing materials. And there should be controllable viscosity. Viscosity nothing but whether it is thick, thin slurry or thick slurry. Okay, so the thick and thin slurries are going to be measured as a viscosity. Okay, and easy removal of and recyclability. Now you can observe and you can remember one thing. Why we are applying the size paste is, we are applying the size paste because to weavable in the weaving area. Nothing but the yarn should be getting weavability. Nothing but it should be resisted the stresses and strains which are applied in the weaving machine. So after weaving, is there any requirement of the size paste? So after the fabric conversion, is there any requirement of the size paste still present in the fabric? Obviously it is not. So after the fabric formation, whatever the size paste we applied into the warp sheet, so after fabric formation, the fabric has to be going for the de-sizing. So this is the sizing process. Now after fabric formation, there is a process called as de-sizing process. So de-sizing nothing but removal of size paste from the fabric. Okay. So why we are removing and why we are applying is, we are applying because the yarn should be resisted or sustained in the weaving process. After weaving, we don't require the size paste. That is why we are removing the size paste in the de-sizing process. And the size paste should be neutral pH and non-pollutant, and it should be cheaper. So if it is costlier, then because after the weaving process we are removing it, the fabric cost is going to increase if the size paste cost is increased. Okay. So that is the properties. These are the few properties required for the sizing materials. And the specific requirements of sizing material properties will be depends upon the following factors. So how we are going to select the sizing gradients? Okay, what are the factors which are going to govern to select the sizing gradients are? You can see here, type of fiber is one of the major factor. Whether it is a cotton fiber, viscose, nylon, polyester, or cotton polyester blended yarns are there, or cotton polyester viscose blends are there. So whatever the blends, what is the type of fiber we are using in the weaving process is one of the factor. And the second one is type of yarn, that is whether it is ring yarn, rotor yarn, friction yarn. There are different yarn production processes. You people are going to learn in the yarn manufacturing only one or two, that is like basic ring spinning process you will going to study, but there are different spinning processes are there, different yarn manufacturing processes are there, ring, rotor, friction, air jet, there are etc. So the type of yarn also one of the factor. And what is the type of loom we are using to produce the fabric or to convert the warp and weft to the fabric or to the cloth. So one is like hand looms are there, shuttle looms and power looms are comes under the shuttle loom, and projectile looms, air jet looms, all water jet looms are comes under the category of shuttle-less looms. So what is the type of loom we are using? Because now shuttle-less looms are going to run at the slower speeds compared to the shuttle-less weaving machine. So shuttle-less weaving machines are going to produce or run at the speed of like 1000 picks per minute or 1500 picks per minute. Generally, for example, in the shuttle looms, so that to power looms, you can observe that 200 picks per minute is the maximum speed. And in the hand looms, maximum 20 to 30 picks can be inserted by manually. Okay, so that is the thing, that is why we required what is the type of loom we are using. If we are running at higher rate of speeds, more stresses and strains are going to be applied. The yarn should be resisted, whatever the very less time stresses and strains which are going to be applied in the weaving machines are. So that is why this is also one of the major thing. And the constructional features, that is weave, yarn count, and the quality set of the fabric we are going to produce. So these are the some of the requirements of sizing material properties for particular factor. Okay, then what are the sizing materials we have? To prepare the size paste, we require some materials, right? So what are the sizing materials and how these sizing materials are classified? Now basically we have two size ingredient, two basic classification. One is called as primary ingredients, the second one is called as secondary ingredients. Primary ingredients are called as primary, nothing but it should be must and should, these ingredients should be there. So the primary ingredients are adhesives, softeners and lubricants, and antiseptics are the ingredients. These are the primary ingredients. And secondary may be there or may not be there in the size paste. Maybe you can add these secondary ingredients as per the requirement, may not be added. Okay. So secondary ingredients are deliquescents, weighing agents, bluing and brightening agents, anti-static agents, wetting agents, and anti-foaming agents. Okay. So these are the primary ingredients and the secondary ingredients which we are going to use to prepare the size paste for the sizing. Okay. So till this you can observe here I have given small images of the size granules of different sizes. So wheat, rice, maize and farina, and you can see that the tapioca and sago, how the size ingredients are going to, that granules are going to be looks like. Okay, scale is like 1 into 200. Okay, so small granules, how these granules are going to be looks. Okay, after the boiling, after the size paste preparation, these granules are going to be gelatinized. Okay, there is a process called as gelatinization. So these granules are becoming gel form. Okay, so that we will discuss further classes. Okay, so till this I am stopping the session. So in the next session we will discuss about what are the sizing materials, particularly like I told primary ingredients and secondary ingredients. So what are the primary ingredients, and adhesives, nothing but what are the different types of adhesive materials are available, what are the examples of it. We will see all the things in the next session. So till then, thanks for listening. Bye.